Hi, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Liv.
And this is the Mach-E vlog.
But today we are not in a Mach-E, we are in the F-150 Lightning. So we are going to check it out and give you our perspective, our first drive, our first experience with this F-150 Lightning as Mach-E owners. So let's go. We literally just picked up the F-150 Lightning. And of course, what do you do but shove Patrick in the front, right? Yes. Get in there.
Yeah, this is plenty of room. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to test it out one time?
You gotta hit the button.
Oh, you don't do that? Can you hit that to close it?
Yeah.
Hey.
Some joke, you want to take a picture of me.
Oh, yeah, in the front.
Oh, yes.
Did you just say it's your dream car?
It is my dream.
It's your dream car. Come hop in. We'll take your photo. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's like what nightmares are made of. It just ate him. It just ate him. Oh, jeez. Can you hear me? Oh, great. Okay, let's do the intro. Can you believe we are inside the F-150 Lightning right now?
Feels a bit strange because it feels very familiar if you've ever driven an F-150, but it's so quiet as well as so quick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's sort of crazy how quick it is and how responsive it is. It basically is sort of like a merging of a Mach-E and an F-150. So it's basically the utility and function of a F-150 and the quickness and power and instantaneous power of the Mach-E. So it's sort of trippy. And it's still a big truck, but it handles, I think, a bit better than a normal F-150, especially here on like regular streets. Definitely not like a off-road master. It's specifically this Platinum because it has like the bigger 22-inch wheels, but it can handle, some decent stuff, but I wouldn't consider it like that's what the Bronco is for and that type of thing. That's so cool. Like front wheels spinning on a truck.
Does that basically mean it's too powerful for its wheels to keep up with?
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, it's not keeping the traction. You could tell it adjusted so that it could work, but.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're having a lot of fun, aren't you?
This is a fun vehicle. I really do like the display for the driver compared to the Mach-E. It shows like how much power I'm outputting or how much regen is going back into the battery. Very nice looking display and a lot of useful information. I hear that some of these updates or some of this information is going to come over to the Mach-E, and I can't wait to see it. If you are buying the F-150 Lightning, specifically the Platinum, for around town, getting to your work site, doing normal day-to-day functions, this is a very, very comfortable ride. The seats feel great. The suspension on city streets is remarkably smooth. As I was saying, it's not really like an off-roading vehicle, but for handling these, potholes and bumps and everything, feels fantastic. And of course, it's still really nice to have that power as you want it. Things are flopping around back here. Now we've taken several other cars back here. We're on the old Lowry Air Force Base that's been updated, and they have roundabouts. So this is sort of like the tiny little bit of fun that you can have and the type of fun you have in a city environment. But I like these roundabouts. It sort of lets you feel how the car handles the weight shifting, like left to right to left. Of course, there's a bunch of traffic, so I can't really do that, but we'll give it a try. Cadillac got in my way. And of course, this car.
Oh, wow.
But definitely very smooth. Handle the weight transfer. It's a heavy vehicle. I believe it's between 6,000 and 7,000 pounds. Not as heavy as like the Hummer, which gets up close to 10,000 pounds. But our Mach-E is about 5,000. So that gives you an indication of where it fits in the grand scheme of things. The F-150 Lightning has Sync 4A, just like the Mach-E does, has the big 15.5-inch screen with the knob. Here's a screen that we look at in the Mach-E a lot, and you can see this is sort of interesting, 3.0 miles per kilowatt hour. Of course, we're just driving around town, haven't really gone that far, 2.5 miles. But 3 miles per kilowatt hour, it shows that I think the Lightning will do fairly well on your local trips. On the longer trips, I don't think it'll be anywhere close to that. But anyways, interface is very similar to the Mach-E. Instead of having a Mach-E, you have a Lightning here. This gets you to all of your like quick access settings. The camera, just like in the Mach-E, has a 360 camera, which I absolutely love. Drive modes, instead of having unbridled, engaged, and whisper mode, you have normal, sport, off-road, and it's let me know one pedal drive is not available in an off-road mode. And towing and hauling, which just, I don't think it goes up to 10,000 pounds in this one because it's the Platinum. I think it's under that, but we'll keep it back in sport mode. If you go into towing, you could add a trailer, name the trailer. I don't really want to go into this, but I guess I have to show you. But you could like basically set up a trailer. It'll let you set the size and everything like that, and then and the shape and weight, and it'll help you adjust your range based on the type of trailer that you are towing. We don't have a trailer to play around with, so we won't go into that. Another really cool feature, the onboard scales. So with the onboard scales, it basically, like as you load stuff up, if you're loading up a ton of bricks or dirt or something like that, it'll let you know if you're getting close to your maximum payload. And not only will it show here, but it will also show on the tail lights as you're loading stuff into the truck. So another cool area, the zone lighting lets you turn on the different lighting in the front of the truck, sides. So depending on where you're working around the truck, you can turn on the different lighting areas. The Pro Power onboard lets you monitor as you plug things in. In the front, you have 2.4 kilowatts, and in the back, you have the 7.2 kilowatts. But we will test that out in another video. And then some other features like intelligent backup power we won't be able to play around with, but this allows you to power your house for up to 3 days with the F-150 Lightning. So basically it's like having your own little power bank to power your house.
Or 10 days if you're conservative.
So this is what we want to play around with. The massage. Just turn on a massage. Oh, there we go. I'm going to turn it on for Liv, and she's going to react in a second.
My gosh.
We'll do full recovery.
Oh, we need that.
And then I'm going to do full recovery. Oh, yeah, this feels really good.
Oh my goodness. This is pretty much like the EQS, the Mercedes EQS.
I think theirs has a heated massage, but this is really, really nice.
The majority of this cabin does not feel similar to the Mach-E to me, except for the 15.5-inch screen and of course the dial, which I personally really, really like. There are tons more power features and everything, but one thing that stands out to me that's a little better in the Mach-E is the tinting on the roof is so good in the Mach-E. It's so good. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know it did that. That's really cool. That's really cool though. That's super cool. But it doesn't feel like there's as much tinting. I don't know about you, Patrick.
It's hard to tell until I get into the direct sunlight from above, but it may not be as much because they do have the sunshade.
Yeah, they do have the sunshade. There's a lot more fun features
But
here.
this one opens.
I know. I kind of want to stick my head out and just woo. So it's really cool, similar to the ID4 in that you have some power controls right there, easy to press. I just boop the forward button and now the entire thing is closing. No, it's not. Now the entire thing is closing. So you somewhat sacrifice the tinting on the glass, but you get a whole bunch of interesting functionality. So I started off saying that I thought it was better in the Mach-E, but I don't know. I might actually take all of those features versus a good tint. You?
Yeah, it's tempting to have all of that. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It's super cool. And now, if you remember, we tested out this glass roof cover. This feels very much like that, like a pretty good cover. You can tell that this is fabric and it's actually quite sturdy and everything, but it just feels like you have a cover on now and it's seamlessly closed up. Really well done. A feature that I am super excited to try with this is, so firstly, the powered liftgate is so awesome. And then we have this pull-out step, but my balance is not too great. Not to worry, we have a handle and I'm nervous. My balance is really bad. So let's see the live wipeout test. Oh my gosh, that was easy peasy, but now can I get down? I'm so nervous. Oh, I'm so nervous. Woo. Oh, that's very helpful. Oh my gosh, okay, that is awesome. I really like this. Let's see how we put it away. Okay, so we have number 2 button and then a number 1 button. And then we push that in, easy peasy. Push this in. Is that all the way? Push that in, press the button, all done. How cool is that? I did it, yay!
Here's a close-up of all the power that's in the back. There's 7.4 kilowatts available. So we have your 240 volt, I believe 30 amp, yes. And then we have 20 amp, 120 volts, and then also 20 amps, 120 volts as well. You can see your zone lighting throughout the truck. There's some up there and on each side as well.
So, I don't do a lot of the driving because I have to be totally honest. Driving cross-legged in new vehicles can take a little time to get used to. Fortunately, we have just a couple hours with this car, so I at least feel like I could jump in and do a quick little drive, but it takes a lot longer to get used to a vehicle full time. For me, I don't have any experience like Patrick with driving the F-150 in general, so this is so trippy being in such an enormous vehicle, but it is so quiet and the steering wheel is really surprisingly nimble. You know what I mean, Patrick?
Yeah, and that's very surprising for a vehicle this large, that it feels not light, but it feels easy to maneuver.
It really does, yeah. It's very responsive and I'm in one pedal now. That almost felt like Whisper if I was doing a comparison. You know what I mean?
And we put it in normal mode, which is probably the equivalent to Engage or maybe Whisper.
Okay. Yeah, this is really interesting. I did adjust my seat compared to Patrick. I like a little bit of an SUV style seating higher up. He likes a little lower, but I feel like I can see everything. There's great visibility in the mirror behind me. This is really, really surprising as a non-truck driver. This is surprisingly more comfortable, more nimble, and just kind of more petite feeling than I was expecting for such a mammoth vehicle. Granted, I'm just kind of turning around in a parking lot, but even a turn like this is somewhat more tight than you would normally make on a on a regular street. And that's surprising to me. Like, I'm kind of tickled, to be totally honest.
I'm curious. I wonder if this has a smaller turning radius than the normal F-150 because there's no motor up front that they have to worry about.
Let me turn tighter even. That was pretty tight. Like, I turned on the parking line.
Yeah, not bad at all.
No, that's really cool. This is so fun. Okay, we don't have that much time for me to be zipping around a parking lot, but this is really, really fun. I'm excited. I'm so excited for other people to get to experience this because I think this is going to surprise people. Patrick is driving, and I am going to enjoy one of the extra special features of this F-150 Lightning. We're going to go all the way back. Oh, yes. So this seat, both the passenger and the front, and apparently it doesn't like it that the passenger lies down while the person's driving. So what, am I not allowed to go to sleep while you're driving?
No, apparently not.
That's rude. Well, I'm going to anyways. So both the passenger and the driver's seat lie all the way back. Obviously, it does not want the passenger seat to do this while you're driving. I guess there's no way for you to be braced for an accident, so that does make sense. But this is really cool, and we happen to know that massaging seats do work while you're lying all the way back. We went on a camping trip with Out of Spec, who generously loaned us this vehicle for a couple hours, and Kyle Connor actually slept in this F-150 Lightning, lying all the way back with the massaging seats, and I feel like I'm in a first-class plane seat like I've ever been in first class, like what I envision it's like. But I'm getting driven around, and now it's a little disconcerting, so I'm going to stop that. Let's go back to normal, shall we? It's the roundabouts that are the weirdest while you're lying down. Oh my gosh, you're not cool, man. Not cool. Oh my gosh. Was that punishment?
Yeah, that's why he keeps the seat up.
Thanks.
Something that's really interesting in driving the F-150 Lightning versus driving our Mustang Mach-E, especially when it was first out, no one really takes notice of the Lightning. Of course, it looks exactly like a F-150. It just has a couple of little badges that say Lightning, but no one knows that this is anything different than a normal F-150. When we first had our Mach-E, we literally almost stopped traffic. We had people stick their head out their window on the freeway to try to get a look at the Mach-E. Here, no one even looks at us. They notice us filming maybe, and they'll take a look at that, but no one takes notice that we're in an F-150 Lightning. So it's sort of neat. Like we've talked about taking the Mach-E some places, it makes us a bit nervous because we get too much attention. This doesn't get any attention, so that could be pretty fun.
Wow, they got really close. It's really interesting both feeling and watching Patrick driving, because I feel like he's driving like it's a Mach-E because it feels like a Mach-E, doesn't it?
All EVs have that instant torque, and it's just trippy that it's so much instant torque in such a big vehicle. But the power feels like a Mach-E, and then just trying to figure out like how the handling and suspension is. It drives very well on city street, a bit more floaty, bouncy, which sort of reminds me of the Mach-E. Kyle had his Rivian and was saying it feels more like a performance car when you put it in sport mode. So that's pretty interesting.
And how do the different modes feel? You haven't really been able to test that out yet, huh?
I haven't, no.
We're on these little streets with roundabouts and all kinds of stuff that's quite interesting for testing out handling, but Patrick is trying to make his way. Oh, geez, really? Patrick is trying to make his way to the highway so we can test out some blue cruise and some fast driving.
Yeah, you could definitely feel the heft of it when you're throwing it around like that, and it feels, even though it's an EV with the low center of gravity, you can still feel like it's a heavy vehicle. And a tall vehicle compared to something like the Mach-E or any of the Teslas we've driven or the Polestar, where it's low center of gravity and a low vehicle. The Lightning, I'd have to say, is a very quiet vehicle on city streets. Of course, you don't have any engine noise. We could turn on the fake noise. Let's do that real quick. I don't like this in the Mach-E, and I don't really care for it in this one as well. I don't know if you can hear that or not. People are going too slow.
I think it sounds like a hum. It's like a bunch of robots decided to hum together.
Yeah, it's not bad. I just prefer quietness if I can get that. But it feels like a very solid cabin, a lot of sound insulation. You don't hear the electric motors much going by a semi truck, and it's not noisy at all. We're in sport mode, which means the steering feels a bit stiffer. The pedal feels a bit more sensitive. And I do have it in one pedal driving, meaning I don't need to use the brake if I time things well. But if I do need to use the brake, it does do regenerative braking. It has blended into regular braking just using the brake pedal. So that's helping to put some energy back into the battery as I slow down.
Wow.
And just like with the Mach-E, has pre-collision assist. Somebody was making a right turn. I knew they were out of my way, but the car, or the truck, I should say, was a little bit worried about that. And now we'll go try some other features like lane keep assist or Blue Cruise. We should be able to hit Blue Cruise. We're on I-225 in Aurora, Colorado. So Blue Cruise comes with the Platinum. I believe it's an option on the other trim levels. I'm going to go ahead and just turn it on at a simple, we're speed limit 65, so I'll just go ahead and do 65. The screen tells me that it's in hands-free mode. It actually says hands-free. Looks slightly different than the Mach-E screen when we are in Blue Cruise mode, but now hands-free driving only did 64, not 65 miles an hour, but it's handling this. We're going on a slight curve here. Feels pretty smooth. There were some shadows there. I was wondering if it was going to have any issues with that, like some systems, but didn't have any issues at all. And handling the slight curves with no issues. We have a lane merging on. There's a dashed line, so shouldn't have any issues detecting where the lane is. Keeping me, feels very centered in this, so that's just like in the Mach-E. Very happy with how it handles in the Mach-E. Unfortunately, we are on a time crunch, so I'm going to change lanes, turn off Blue Cruise, and we're going to head back. If you are watching this and you're interested in an F-150 Lightning, just know that we should have a Lightning for a longer period of time. We only had it for a couple hours today. We're hoping to get a Lightning for a few days, and we have some really cool tests that we want to do with it. As we keep saying, it's live in Patrick style. We want to go have some fun with the F-150 Lightning and test it out. But this is just sort of a preview of what's coming up. We're wanted to give you a taste of what the Lightning is like. We're very pleased that we got into a F-150 Lightning Platinum Edition. This is the top of the line. I believe this one's about $94,000. It starts at about $90,000. Has a lot of nice features like the massaging seats and the retractable glass roof. So there are a lot of other trim levels like the Lariat and XLT and the Pro, where I believe you, in my opinion, you get a little bit of better value for your money if you don't want some of those other features, you're not going to use them often. So I think I might settle for something a little bit less than the Platinum. I think Lariat is one of the most popular options that people are going with. The people I know are going with Lariat. And we'll put a link down below so that you can see the differences between the trim levels. There's a lot of little things that you got to look at, and you can add some of the stuff from the Platinum onto the lower trim levels. Some of the stuff on the Platinum is not available. It's complicated, typical automaker fashion. They make you order packages on some things, so check it out for yourself. But I really like this Platinum. I could see owning this type of vehicle. Liv and I aren't really truck people, but what do you think, Liv?
Well, for me right now, I don't feel like we have enough use for a truck, but I want it so badly. And back when I was studying industrial design, this would have been the ultimate, the dream thing. It would have been amazing. I used to haul a lot of lumber, pieces of metal, just things that I completely abused the inside of my car with, because I still had my 98 RAV4. I took out the back seats and would throw stuff in the back there. But the Lightning would have been perfect. And I for sure would have done a ton of work in the back of it as well, and potentially in the front. Like the fact that you can power stuff, oh, I would have been using that all the time. But now, not only do we not have enough use for it, but we also don't necessarily have the space, because this is a chunky boy. This is chunky.
It is big.
It is.
And living in a place like Denver where we go downtown to go to whatever, parking would be an issue. I mean, a lot of people have them around here and they survive parking. I would hate to parallel park with this, although I know it has some park assist features available.
It does.
Yeah. It's still just big.
It is big, and I wasn't even thinking of the parking because I guess we could say, fortunately, I get handicap parking, which means I get a little wiggle room if we were parking this big thing. But I don't think our little garages could fit this. I don't know.
Our garage, I don't think, would fit it. And it would be almost impossible to get out. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a two-car garage, so fitting the second car would be very difficult.
Certainly, especially if it's the Mach-E, which isn't quite as petite as my old car. As the Platinum Edition, I am super surprised by the luxury features and how luxury it does feel. Now, I have not been in the XLT or the Pro or even the Lariat, the lower trims. I can't even remember what we've seen now at various auto shows, because we've seen a couple Lightnings here or there. Do you remember which trims we've seen?
I believe when we did the test ride in New York, it was a Platinum. But the other ones, I don't remember if it was Lariat or whatever. We haven't been in I think I went as in a Pro during the Fleet.
Oh, that would make sense. That would make sense. And I know that some of the features that are in the Platinum are the textures and the materials inside. There's like a faux leather, I believe.
This is real leather.
Is it real leather?
You swerved in my lane.
Oh my gosh, scary. Why do some people swerve left when they're turning right? I don't know. But we have the real leather, bummer. And then we have the Alcantara, which I'm not a huge fan of, just because I don't know. It looks like you could damage it, and anything I could damage, I'm not a fan of. I love the inlaid wood sort of effect. And we have this brushed metal, which feels really wonderful. A couple other features, by the way, there is a second glove box. So you have your glove box, and then you have your second glove box. And I've been talking to some people, and some parents were talking about how they hate that their kids' phones and their kids' stuff is always lying around on their console and their wireless charger. So here is somewhere for your kids or your passenger, whatever, to put their stuff, get that out of the way. This is the passenger's little stashing area, which is kind of lovely, clean, out of the way. The amount of power features that we have here, of course, versus the Mach-E is pretty astounding. You have your regular 12-volt cigarette lighter style power source, and then you have a 120-volt, 20-amp power source like right here. Isn't that crazy? Not only that, but you also have the wireless charging pad. You have a USB-C and USB-A charger. The USB-C is plugged in, ready for use. Now, I don't believe that the wireless charging pad comes in the lower trims, which is a bummer, but okay. And now, in contrast to the Mach-E, we don't have the sort of go-through space. In the Mach-E, we have a space that goes through between the passenger and the driver, so we could both store something larger. Here we just have a smaller space. You could throw in your snacks or whatever. And you have quite a lot of door space here with partitions. We don't have the perfectly sort of tailored soda holder, which I really love in the Mach-E, but you have quite a bunch of partitions here. Since we're short on time, we can't demo right now a feature that is really lovely, which I'm sure you've seen before. It is that this folds out into the table. This is also in the higher trims, and I don't believe it's in the Pro, but I think it is an add-on. I can't remember how much it is.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think you can get it in the Pro, maybe, but the gear shift actually folds out of the way, and that can fold out. So very cool work surface.
Yeah.
Which would work great for us if we did like a massive road trip and then had to like edit. We'd have like a little table to have the laptop there as well as our power. So double bonus.
Right? And that would be absolutely amazing. It totally makes me think of this guy I went to college with who was a storm chaser, and he would have laptops and radars and things in his car, and it looked super dodgy because this was like a while ago. But if he had the F-150 Lightning, I feel like you could have a really sweet wired up rig and it would just fit in seamlessly and just look really great and be super functional. Oh, another thing, the 15.5-inch screen does not come on all the trims. I think it might be the Pro and the XLT do not come with this, or it might just be the Pro. They come with a little smaller, I believe it's a 12-inch.
Yes.
Yeah, which actually, is that the same that you get in the e-Transit? It looks very similar.
I think so.
Yeah, so that's a bit more like you're getting your more utilitarian, more fleet-oriented base model. And then if you upgrade to the Lariat or the Platinum, you get the sweet Mach-E screen. Now, some people have pointed out that it does look a little bit more embedded in the F-150 Lightning than it does in the Mach-E, in which it's sort of just like plonked there. I don't mind at all, but what do you guys think? Do you like the way that this looks a bit more embedded into the dash, a little more seamless maybe? What do you think?
Yeah, it doesn't stick up quite as much. One thing to note are the Blue Cruise eye sensors. In the Mach-E, they're behind the steering wheel. And in the F-150 Lightning, there's one here, and the other is over here.
And when he said here, he indicated to the left of the 15.5-inch screen and then to the left of the steering wheel.
And I'm going through this parking lot because we go through with our Mach-E and our RAV4, and these speed bumps, for whatever reason, are just not spaced too well or angled well. And they're always rough. Not actually these first couple of ones, but the one at the corner. So we're going to give a test and see how the rear suspension handles that. So it's not actually the speed bump, it's just like drainage ditch thing here. And it always throws off every car that I've gone on. And I think that was the best any of them has handled it. I'm gonna go circle around again and try that in both directions just because. All right, here we go. Yeah, you could tell it wanted to jostle us around, but it handled it really nicely. And you know, in some ways, I think that's more important than like these off-road tests for a vehicle like this. This is what a lot of people are going to be doing. And I know it's silly to talk about, you know, handling this as like, oh, how capable is this vehicle? But this is real life. Like, does it smack my head against the window when I go over those little dips like that? Again, in our other cars, it tends to do that, but this one handled it well.
That definitely felt a little more bouncy than the Mach-E, but I love that. I know some people find our Mach-E, basically the premium, our first edition, to be quite bouncy. So it'll be really interesting when we get the GT Performance Edition.
One last time.
Oh my gosh.
Spinning the wheels.
He's going to be really sad to say goodbye to this. It's been really fun. But when we get the GT Performance Edition, it'll be interesting to go over that bump as well. But I'm sure you have areas in your normal commute or in your area that are really bumpy and you kind of dread and you really prepare. Are you going over bumps again?
A little bit. Actually, I'll go over the curb.
He's totally going over areas that we normally sort of watch with our cars. But yeah, this will be really interesting. Are you actually going to do the curb?
Yeah, I want to do the curb. I'll go slow.
Oh yeah, it's not. Ooh, oh, ooh, ooh, ah.
And that was sort of the test, was like the rear, because it has that rear suspension, independent suspension. It feels better than normally in a truck because they're on a live axle, single axle. So it's sort of, when you go that way, the wheels have trouble adapting. But
That felt absolutely great.
yeah, I want to be gentle on the truck because it is a loaner.
Oh yeah, and we definitely respect the opportunity to get this amazing vehicle, and we're so grateful to Out of Spec for being so generous with their time and their cars, and for collabing with us. And obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen their channel, but if you somehow haven't, just look up Out of Spec. They have a bunch. If you're interested in anything car, they probably have a channel about it. They have a bunch of channels. But huge thanks to them for loaning us this vehicle for a couple hours. Which has been super, super fun. Now we're gonna go hop in Lucifer again.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna take a picture and then send it to my son-in-law.
Oh yeah.
Cancel the order.
Oh man.
Do you want to stick one of you with the front?
Oh yeah.
This one is 300 bucks. So you have a drain here. Yep. And a carry-on and a full size.
I love that Patrick was like, he's closing the front. It's so fun. Oh, and the guy's filming. So I love that Patrick was like, oh, no one notices this car, blah, blah, blah. We've been parked here for like 8 minutes and 2 people have come over. So great. Like the one guy who came over, his son had ordered a Lightning and just canceled the order. So obviously he recognized it for that reason. This other gentleman, he just recognized the Lightning. So the people who are really interested in it are like, beeline. Super cool. It's such a cool vehicle. I don't want to say goodbye to it, but I do want to pop my head out the roof if I can really quickly before we do have to say goodbye. I love that as per usual, Patrick's giving a tour. Let's see. All right. Turn it on. That's pretty bright. That's not tinted. All right, let's open it.
And then I was just telling the guy here, it also has like power everywhere.
I want to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm climbing out. Okay, this might be the best view in the house. He just closed the tailgate. That felt really weird. Wow, that dump truck is so loud. This is amazing. This is amazing. I'm just kneeling on the thing that folds down as a table, and it's actually really comfortable. And here comes Jordan to take the car back. Woo! Let's go!
Thank you so much.
This has been super fun. I can't wait to ride in this again and drive it and play around with it and have a party. Super cool vehicle. All right, bye.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in this sort of mini comparison between the F-150 Lightning Platinum Edition and the Mustang Mach-E that we have. We hopefully will get to do a bigger, longer comparison at some point in the future, but we appreciate you jumping in with us on this experience.
And we know that it's not really a comparable vehicle, but the fact that these are both made by Ford, they have some really similar tech, some really similar features. So there's a comparison there, but these are really different vehicles that serve different purposes. And this is so functional, so cool. It's been an absolute pleasure.
So thank you for watching. And of course, thank you to our patrons that have supported us and help us. We had new mics, so you could sort of say like, thank you to our patrons for hopefully giving us some better sound quality today and in the future. So thanks to all of them. Of course, the Unbridled, the Engaged, and we also appreciate our Whisper patrons. And if you're interested, check out the link in the description and see what other perks that you get for being a patron member.
On that note, we have to say goodbye to this fantastic vehicle. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to stick around and subscribe while you're here. And also remember that whatever you drive, enjoy the ride. Bye.